A few years ago, my team and I created a product that we thought was amazing. We worked tirelessly for months, going through many iterations to get it just right. It checked all the boxes. The design was beautiful. The engineering was flawless. And most importantly, we were solving a problem that lots of people had. And then we launched it, and nobody cared. Nobody even seemed to notice that we'd launched. Now, this is pretty embarrassing for a company that specializes in building products, but it taught us a very important lesson about building products. You can build the best product in the world, but if you're not solving the right problem, no one will care. In fact, they may not even realize that there's a problem to be solved in the first place. Now, this might seem obvious, but it's actually quite difficult to figure out what the right problems to solve are. It's easy to look at the problems that people are currently facing. You can look at news articles, you can talk to friends, or you can read social media posts to see what people are complaining about. But then you'll be solving those problems. Everyone else is already trying to solve those problems. There are probably hundreds of other startups trying to do the same thing that you're doing. Instead, what you should do is try to find problems that people don't even know how to articulate yet. This is the path to building really great companies. There are 3 ways to go about finding these kind of problems. The first is to look at things that have changed recently. Change is the #1 driver of new problems. As a simple example, think about what happened during the pandemic. When COVID hit and everyone started staying home, suddenly there was a huge surge of demand for home exercise equipment. People couldn't go to the gym anymore, so they started working out at home. But before that, no one really thought about having an exercise bike in their house. It was just something that you saw at a gym. Now, this doesn't mean that you should just jump on whatever bandwagon is popular at the time because that's not sustainable. The reason why the Peloton bike became so popular is because it was a really good product. It had a really nice design and a great workout experience. If you just try to jump on a trend without building a great product, well, people will forget about your product the second the trend is over. Instead, what you should do is identify trends that are permanent or at least semi-permanent. For example, working from home isn't going away anytime soon. There are tons of studies showing that productivity doesn't decline when people work from home, and employees generally prefer working from home at least part-time. So even though the pandemic might be over, working from home is here to stay. The second way to find new problems to solve is by looking at the future. You can look at things like technological advances or demographic shifts to try to figure out what problems are going to emerge in the near future. For example, Elon Musk is worried that there aren't enough jobs for humans in the future, because AI and robots are going to automate so many jobs. So he is trying to build AI in the short term and space travel in the long term to create new frontiers for humans to explore. That's his way of creating more jobs for people in the future. More relevant to most of us is the aging population in developed countries. As baby boomers retire and the number of elderly people increases, there's going to be a lot of new problems that emerge around healthcare and senior living. This is why companies like One Medical are building new kinds of primary care clinics. They refocused on making it easier for people to get Dr. S appointments and spend more time with their doctors. There's also a startup called Dispatch that provides transportation for elderly people who can't drive themselves to Dr. S appointments. The third way to find new problems is by looking backwards. Most industries have been around for a long time. Take cars, for example. The automobile was invented almost 150 years ago, yet we still spend more than $300 billion a year on car insurance. So clearly there's something wrong with the system. Now, if you go and talk to insurance agents, they'll tell you that they're providing an important service. They protect drivers from financial ruin in the event of an accident, and they also help people navigate the claims process after an accident. But if you ask anyone who's ever made a claim, they'll tell you that working with insurance companies is the worst. It takes forever, and you never get the full amount that you deserve. When you dig deeper into the industry, you start to realize why this is. Insurance companies weren't built for the digital age. Most documents are sent via fax, and you have to call different agents to get different types of insurance. There's also a huge incentive for insurance companies to deny claims. If they pay out more money, they make less money. This is why there are so many ads for personal injury lawyers. So even though cars are a mature industry, there are tons of problems that are just waiting to be solved. Now, you might be wondering where you fit into all this. How can you find the right problems to solve? Well, the truth is, you probably have to be in the right place at the right time to figure this out. There are some patterns that you can look for. For example, some of the biggest changes in the last few decades have come from the internet and mobile devices. Anything that was difficult or expensive to do before is now cheap or free. You can watch a movie for $8 instead of buying a DVD for $20. You can take a taxi for a few dollars instead of owning a car that costs tens of thousands of dollars. You can listen to any song in the world for free instead of paying $1 per song. This has led to a lot of new businesses. For example, Netflix, Airbnb, Uber, and Spotify didn't exist 20 years ago, but today they're worth billions of dollars. As technology continues to evolve, there will be even more opportunities. For example, 5G and edge computing are making real-time applications much more feasible. In the future, we'll be able to use our phones for much more than we're currently using them for. Right now, we mostly use our phones for passive consumption, but in the future, we'll use them for active creation. Virtual and augmented reality are also going to be much more mainstream in the future. There are already tons of apps being built on top of the physical world. For example, Pokémon Go got millions of people to walk around the street. Imagine what will happen when the graphics become much more realistic. Of course, this is just speculation. No one knows for sure what the future will hold. But this is how you should think about it. Look for major changes in technology or society and ask yourself what kind of problems those changes might create or eliminate. For example, the internet created the need for software engineers and web developers. Mobile devices created the need for app developers and UX designers. Self-driving cars will create the need for AI specialists and robotics engineers. The key takeaway here is that you shouldn't try to solve problems that everyone already knows about. If you want to build a great company, you have to find problems that no one else can see yet. Now, the easiest way to do this is to look for problems in your own life. You're the best person to solve problems that you face personally. Other people might face similar problems, but you won't know unless you ask them. And if you do end up building something that other people want, then you've struck gold. Of course, this isn't easy to do. You have to experiment with a lot of different ideas before you find something that works. You also have to be willing to pivot and change your idea based on feedback from other people. And most importantly, you have to be passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve. If you're not passionate about the problem, then you're not going to be able to convince other people to care about it too. I hope this helps. Good luck and see you next time.